Good morning, everybody. It is, I don't know what time it is. 6:34, Thursday morning. We're getting ready to head up to King of Prussia for some material to do a little extra work at the Wawa that they asked for. So let's get started. We're gonna have to stop for a little bit of fuel on the way there. We're just dipping under a quarter. We're not gonna make it from Bristol to the King of Prussia down to Philly and then back home. So to start the morning, if you've seen my last video, I referenced that me and Jack, Dirty Max Jack, got the same, ordered the same modification, same day, all that, whatnot. The part we ended up getting, if you went from my link to his, I'm sure you just watched his video, really. But we both ended up ordering the Borg Warner S369 SXE fixed vane turbo with the intercooler piping, the new intake. He already has a Y bridge. I ordered the Y bridge. Hot and cold side piping. I forget what else. I think that's about it, really. But we ended up ordering it from Worley Custom Fab. He went with the color he already has going. I'm going with the electric blue, which I'm also going to try to incorporate into the headlight build once we finally get that rolling, just so I have something else on the truck, on the exterior, that'll mesh with that color, because right now everything's just white. I need another color but white. Once we have that installed, at some point, not too far in the future, I would like to get my CP3 done, since I'm still running the CP4, and eventually, before I have an issue where I can't drive the truck anymore, I'm gonna want to build my trans from Big Dipper, just like Joey Birch LML did. Only Joey had a problem, so he had to get it done like immediately. I don't want to have to do that. So not only was the business that I was trying to get to get this material not in the location it said it was on the GPS, but they don't even have what I came here to get. They say they have it, they just can't find it. And I'm close to empty, and I'm not really all that near a gas station, and even if I am, I don't even know if they sell diesel. So we'll see how the rest of the morning goes, because so far it's not going too hot. It started raining a little bit, but then it stopped. Hopefully it holds off long enough.
Running like a Hellcat. Like a Hellcat.
One thing I would like to tell you is a few reasons why I don't want to say I hate my Denali, but it's missing a few key features that everybody would always say are in a Denali. They always say, you know, Denali's top of the line, and they're fully loaded, everything's in them. You can't buy a truck that has more in them. But that's not really entirely true, and let me tell you why. Two things I really wish I had As you can see behind me here, I do not have the rear sliding window, nor do I have a sunroof. And that is because I have the snow prep package. The truck was a leftover. I bought it 2016. It was a 2015 leftover. So I wasn't really gonna argue with the price or go try to find another truck for the same price, because I know I wouldn't get one, and by the time I said, all right, I'll go back and get that, this probably would have been gone. So I settled with not getting a sunroof and the window. Another thing, I don't really care, because I would I know I would never use it anyway. This truck does not have a DVD player or TVs. I mean, really, I've known people that have had DVD players and TVs in their trucks. I know they have never used them. Dirty Max Jack actually has TVs in his LTZ Silverado, which my Denali does not. A few things that I do have that, now that I have them, I realize how much I love them, are the heated steering wheel. It's a button here, and as you can see here, the heated and air-conditioned seats with dual climate control. Aside from that, the Denali gives you the full digital screen here for your heads up with the fuel gauges and all that, which is totally customizable, believe it or not. There's a few different screens I can show you shortly that you could change basically the configuration of all the gauges, the color, the look, which I was pretty surprised about. I figured, you know, it would give you a standard screen and that's just your screen, that's about it. But there's many menus that tell you, simple things like engine hours, idle hours, running hours, amount of fuel used, of course your tire pressure, oil life, fuel filter life, average mile per gallon, average trip, all that nonsense that most people probably don't really use all that often, which mine is actually pretty low, I believe. We can take a look-see here. As you can see, I have 18,860 miles as of right now. Average, it's not my average. My average is, what is my average? My average, I need an oil change actually. Where the hell is my average? Alright, now that I figured out how my truck works again, you can see my average is 14.7 mile per gallon, which is pretty damn bad, I would say, actually, considering after I deleted the truck, stock height, stock wheels, I would get roughly, I'm gonna say 24, cruising at 80 on the highway. After I lifted it, cruising on the highway, I could probably get 18. So really, you know, I'm almost at 15 as an average. That's actually not that bad now that I think about it. I'm pretty happy with that. Another feature that's pretty nice that you get in the Denali is, I'm sure you get it in many trucks, I'm sure, nowadays. But another feature that came with the truck is lane departure. Now, I turned off my lane departure because if you've ever driven in the city of Philadelphia or the surrounding areas of Philadelphia, you know you change lanes a lot, and the lane departure pretty much sees the lines in the road. So when you start to cross over the line, it starts going off, whether it's a beeping or a vibrating in the seat. And there's like 3 different settings you could set it to. But between how narrow lanes are around here and how often you change lanes, it just becomes a pain, so I turned it off altogether. It does not have a blind spot, which is a little bit surprising, I guess, really, considering everybody has blind spot detection nowadays, let alone on something large, such as a pickup. But I mean, as everybody can tell, especially with a crew cab, you are able to see very well out the back windows. And with the tow mirrors, you can see very well, depending on how you have them set with your top and bottom mirror. Another thing that came with the mirrors that I really like is that they're heated mirrors. Heated power. It's kind of weird that the bottom mirror, the little skinny piece, is not power. You actually have to move that by hand, which I don't really care for, because you'll adjust it a little bit and then you go back to sit back, and you kind of realize you don't like the position it's in, or you're not really seeing where you want to see. So then you have to adjust it again, and it's just too much adjustment for needing to lean forward and then sit back until you get it to where you really want it. Of course, it has the driver side power seat. It does everything: forward, back, lumbar. The lumbar goes in, out, up, down, as well as the passenger seat, actually, which I was pretty surprised the passenger seat has lumbar support, and is also fully electronically adjustable. Don't be this guy. If you don't belong in the left lane, get out of the left lane. It came with dual power seats, power windows, power mirrors, but that weird little reflector, if you want to call it, at the bottom is not powered, which I don't fully understand. And it's also not heated, which really isn't a big deal, but you would just think, you know, you did the top, why not the bottom? It's almost like they half-assed it. Another thing that I do not like about this truck, and it's not just Denali's, it's all GMCs that have the style headlight that the 2500s have currently, not the new C-shaped on the 1500. It's the dual line LEDs. Is they are not at all bright. They suck. The fog lights are brighter than the headlights. So I mean, I always drive with my fogs on, because it turns the upper LED on during the day. At night they're both on, I believe, anyway. But you could just see so much better with them both on. But all in all, they're not that good. Another thing that I'll touch on probably in the next video when I'm able to do a little bit of a walk around, is the grill. I love the look of the Denali grill. The thing I really don't like, that I'll end up somehow finding a way to get around, I guess you could say, is if you ever notice how the grill is all that like a mesh look and they're all just holes. Once those holes get dirty, you're never going to get them clean again. There are way too many. You're not going to sit there and stick a rag, like finger a rag in each one of these holes. I started one day, I got through the first row, it took way too long. And honestly, you'd have to go through it a couple times to get all the dirt out of it. And who really has enough time for that? And you really, from far, you can't tell if it's dirty or clean anyway. But maybe I need to get like a brush with like a real thick bristled brush, or I need a better way to clean it somehow. I don't know if I can get a cleaner that'll break up the dirt and I could just hose it all off, but that's something I'm going to be looking into. And I'll let you know, just in case you have something similar that you would like to get clean in the same fashion. Another thing about the grill that I'm not too crazy about is the chrome ring that goes around that grill and the mesh itself are one piece. Besides the fact that it's a little bit of a bitch to take the whole thing off, if you wanted to paint any part of it, you would have to tape each of them off separately. You can remove the mesh from that chrome ring, but the problem is they're riveted together, and it's not even like they're metal riveted to where you could just drill them out and put new rivets in and they'll line up perfectly like it did from the factory. It's a plastic rivet. So what the plastic is they pretty much, it's almost like a metal rivet. They put a piece of plastic through and they melt one end so it mushrooms over. But you'll never get it to go back perfectly the same way without modifying it or putting a new bracket or something on. You could try to reuse the hole, but you would have to do something else. You wouldn't be able to rivet it from what I could imagine. The windshield wipers from the factory wore out in under a year. And this has actually been the vehicle I've driven the least in a year time. I put the least amount of miles on in the first year. And the windshield wipers went like stupid fast. So I went out and I bought, I believe I have Bosch, I forget which type, but I have a Bosch blade now, which are holding up fine. I mean, they're only a few months old, if a few, so they better be holding up. But the stock windshield wipers, the stock headlights, they're terrible. They definitely need to step it up, let alone on a $78,000 pickup truck. Also, on the LML, everybody knows they run the CP4 pump, and everybody knows that they've had some detrimental problems with them that you really do not want to have. That, look at this old Alfa Romeo. That is fucking cool. But everybody knows about the CP4 pump. That's something GM just needs to start doing better on, and clearly they haven't. Engineering wise, going from the CP4 in the LMLs to the new L5P, everybody knows they were having motor problems with those. Well, I don't know about everybody, but in case you didn't know, they're having motor problems, excuse me, with those. A guy I work with, his brother has a brand new Denali dually that the blades in the turbo ended up being sucked into the motor and pretty much blew up the motor. And General Motors is giving them a hard time about replacing it, replacing parts, replacing the motor, doing all the work. How is something defective on your end not covered by you? That's like if I build you a house and 2 days later all of a sudden it just collapses, but it's not due to a sinkhole or an earthquake or a tornado or anything like that. Is that not my fault? But regardless, I'm sure it got worked out by now. I haven't seen him in quite a while or talked to him. I would hope it got worked out by now. Another thing, it's a little dumb and I don't want to say petty, but I don't like how quiet this truck is, even deleted. A lot of people say it's loud and obnoxious, whatever. It's not loud enough. Even if you put a 5-inch exhaust on it, it's still not loud enough. Apparently, the Duramax is the quietest out of Cummins and Power Stroke. Another thing, I don't really hate it, but according to my friends Doug and Cody, the GM backup camera isn't all that clear. They say the Ford one is a lot clearer and a lot more accurate. I don't really use my backup camera for backing up. I just kind of used it for reference, just to see if anything's immediately behind me. I still look. It's not really a big deal to me, but apparently it's not that good. Another thing that gets on my nerves a little bit with this truck is the forward collision sensors. I know they're a good thing to have. It's nice for parking, or really that's about it. There's no way to turn them off. You could turn them to chime or for the seat to vibrate. But sometimes if you're in traffic on the highway and the median's on your left, the front left sensor will pick up the median and it'll tell you you're too close to it. There's nothing you could really do about it. And for those of you that drive in Philadelphia or some areas of New Jersey, you know that you could be in that left lane for quite a while. And if you go in the middle lane or the right lane, you're just not going to move, and you'll be there even longer. So having that constant vibrating or that constant chiming really starts to get old fast. I'll put together a little bit of a parts list for you. I'll show you where everything's at, what we've done so far. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to be taking out with these new parts that are coming in with the turbo. Until then, enjoy your day. Thanks for watching.